Today, I'm talking to you about all the things you need to know about writing a blog post. So let's get into it.
Hey y'all, I'm Autumn Evans, strategic branding and website designer. I work for service providers and female entrepreneurs who want to elevate their brand to turn heads and open wallets. I'm sharing with you my top tricks and tips for you to do the same. So let's go.
So one of the questions I get asked most often is how to write a blog post for SEO. So we know that blog posts are super important to your SEO ranking, and how you write that blog post is really important. How you use your headers and your alt tags and your keyword is super important on how Google will recommend you when someone searches for a keyword that you were using. So let's get into my top tips. So step one is to find your keyword. So today I'm going to be walking you through the blog post for this exact blog. So the keyword that I'm going to be looking for is how to write a blog post. So what I use is Keywords Everywhere. So Keywords Everywhere is a paid plugin, a paid extension onto your Chrome browser, which I've talked about in several videos, but it's $10 for like 100,000 searches, and you can turn this on or off right here if you're not using it, which is really, really cool. I absolutely love using Keywords Everywhere, and let's show you how to do that. So I got it on, and I'm going to be searching for how to write a blog post. And so when we search right here, will come up the information here. And so right now, this is very competitive. It gets a lot of searches a month. So I really want to narrow this down. I try personally to keep mine like 0.2 and below. Even like a 0.09 would be like really, really great. I try to keep the competition as low as possible because I want to show up on the first page. And so here's some related keywords that you can look at, like the volume. So you want to do a volume that is kind of equivalent to your current website traffic. So my current website traffic is about 200 to 300 a month on my website, and you can look that up in your analytics for your web page. And so I try to stay somewhere around there in volume. So blog writing examples, that would be like in the volume, and the competition isn't too bad. I like to stay like a lower like this, but that is not really the keyword that I want to look at. So I will go through and look and see if I can find a keyword that I like. How to write a blog post for SEO. Let's see what this says. 140, so that's good. This is really good. All right, so I'm happy with this. Let me see if there's anything like a little bit, another keyword that I can work into my blog post as well. So I like this one here as well. The competition is really low, about 70 volume, how to optimize blog posts for SEO. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull up my notepad, and I'm going to open a new one. And so I'll look for some more just to make sure. All right, so I think I'm pretty happy with what I have, these keywords. So I'm going to look at these again. So I also take a look at some of the first articles just to see what they are sort of saying. And like the date on them, if there's a date. Just so that I can kind of check out who the competition is on this. And that way I make sure that I don't copy specifically, but also that it's fresh content, and then I also check out the related keywords on the side just to see if there's another better keyword. So the biggest part of writing the blog post at first is finding a very strategic keyword for you that is going to do well. All right, so I like this one as well. How to write SEO friendly blog post. I'm gonna write that in there. I also do keyword search for YouTube as well, because my blogs are basically blogs on the YouTube videos that I'm doing. So I like to do some research on that as well, because this helps me determine my YouTube title. And keywords everywhere also works with, so you can see who the top channel is that comes up for this. Neil Patel, who's a big SEO person and does a lot. So his channel is the biggest one for this. You don't pay attention to the ads at the front because they paid for that spot. So I'm just kind of looking at the ones that have been written in the time frame and their views and different things. So I think I personally am going to go for this one. Just because it's a little bit more volume. The competition is still lower, but I'm going to incorporate these as well because the competition for these are lower than this one. So I'm going to incorporate that into the keywords and some tags and in my blog post, which we're going to see now. Now the next step is to write your blog post with your keywords in mind. So I have these keywords right here, and I'm going to put these on the other screen so that I can write and still see them, but you won't be able to see it. All right, so the title for your post needs to be your keyword. So we're going to do, and then you can use your builder and write this on the front end, or you can use the default editor. Either way is fine as long as you have it set up in your theme. So for me personally, I have my blog template in my theme builder, so that if I write it in the default editor, it will still come up. And I do like to write it here because I can see the rank math while I write, which is one of the steps that we're going to have. So when you write your post, you want to use the exact keyword that you were using. So this phrase, you want to use that several times. So I copy it. We'll put it over here, so that we will be able to see it in our rank math as well. All right. So the first step now is, while we're writing our content and using that, we need to set up our headers. So step 3 is to make sure that your headers are set up with your keywords. So and then when you do your headers, you only have one H1 header, which will be this one. This is going to be an H1 header, and then the rest of them should be H2 or H3. You should never repeat an H1 header because that should only be used one time on every page. Otherwise, Google will dock you for that. And then H2 and H3s should include your keywords. Alright, so after you do all of the headers, then you will go back and write the content. Again, creating, like if you can work in your keywords into that content under your headers for each section. Also adding, and then the next step is going to be step 4, which is create images with keywords and alt tags. So for your blog post, you should have at least 2 images. If not more, you should have an image for your featured image, which if you're doing this, you can go to your document, go to featured image, and you put your featured image in here. And this is the image that shows up on a blog post. For example, if you go to my blog, and my featured images are these images that are showing up right here. So these are your featured images. And so you can create these on Canva or anything else that you want to create it on. And then also if you have images in between, that's great. And also you should have an image at the bottom that can be pinned on Pinterest. So these are longer images that are more friendly to Pinterest because, as I've said in previous videos, Pinterest is one of the top 3 search engines in the world. It's not considered a social media platform. It is a search engine. So you should also, if you're writing blog posts, you should be on social media. You should be on Pinterest. All right, so that's step 4 in this. And then when you do an image, which I can show you here, if you set your featured image, when you set it, there's alt text right here. And so this is for my ClickUp form Pinterest image right here. And so the alt text should also have your keyword in there. So for my keywords were, for this image, was ClickUp form tutorial. So I worked that in there, and also your alt text is supposed to describe the image as if you were trying to describe it to a blind person or somebody that has some visual issues. So you can, that helps Google not only read the image, but it also makes it more accessible to more people, which Google looks at very friendly. So after you get your keyword in there, you should also describe the image as well. And so all of your images, that Pinterest image, should all have alt tags with your keyword in there. And then the next step is to follow the rank math tips. So rank math has these green check marks and red X's for things that you don't have. So your goal is to get this to be green up here, and right here is going to be the same color. So you want that to be green, which is typically 80% or above. I wouldn't necessarily pay attention to the number per se because it is very hard to get like a 100%. But as long as you're green, you should be SEO optimized. And if you follow all of these, you should get that in there. So the focus keyword in the URL. So when we edit the snippet, this is the permalink, and it's going to be how to write a blog post for SEO. And so now that we've done that, you can see that this checked off over here. And then in the description, your first part of that description should be how to write a blog post for SEO. And also you want all of these to be in the green. So this one is not necessarily going to be in the green. That's why I say you can't always have it like 100%. So I like the title right here. And I'm going to add the year. That also helps make it relevant. And then as the years goes on, I go back through and make sure that if I have anything that says like 2020, that I go back and update the post if anything has changed, and then update the year as well, because this description is what's going to show up on Google. So like in Google, you have like over here where it's got the dark blue and then it's got the link, and then this is going to be the description right here that's going to show up in Google. So once you get that, then we have, now I need to get my content up, which is going to happen when I do my content for each of these. So you want at least 600 words. I try to do like 1,000 or more in your content. Also, not every time can it be that long. So that's why we're doing, trying to get it into the green. We're not doing perfection. Everything's progress, especially with SEO. SEO is a long-term game plan. So again, add your image with your focus keyword as alt text, and then keyword density. Right now my keyword density is extremely high, which you don't want it to have it too high. If it's too high, then Google thinks you're just like, like plugging it in. But of course I don't have my content in here yet. So you don't want it too low, but you don't want it too high. And then you're going to make sure that you add some links. You're going to follow all of these instructions. Some of these can't always be, done. So some of the keywords won't contain a positive or a negative sentiment, like the best or a great way, or, different positive or negative words. So it won't always have that in there because you're doing your keyword research, and your research should tell you more about that. We're very close, around 80% is green. So that's your goal for when you write a blog post. So now I'm going to write my blog post, and then we will see what score I get and if I do need to adjust my keyword or anything like that. So now, as you can see, I have finished writing my blog post. And I have the green light on there. There's 82 out of 100. So there's some things that I didn't get on here, and I still need to upload my video, which is going to help right here. So it will be a little bit higher, but of course I've got to edit this video and upload to YouTube before I can add it here. And then I will go through and make sure that everything's typed correctly. I have my Pinterest image and my featured image, which is over in this section, with the alt tags with the keywords in there as well. Final step is step 6, which is attaching your media, which would be that YouTube video. If you have a YouTube, if you have a podcast, you would attach that as well, and you want to embed it into your site. So once you do that, you are all set. I hope that this really helped you learn how to write a blog post for SEO. And if you go ahead and subscribe and like this video, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them below in the comments. Thank you.